This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
There I am. Hey, everybody. It is the After Party Live on a Monday. No politics. Not doing it. This is the perfect show if you just want to take a deep breath, focus on something else, and take a moment for yourself. We're going to do this. We have a lot to talk about. It is Hide in Your Cave Monday, and that is really perfect for today because I think that's what a lot of us want to do. Just hide in our cave, get through this day, and then we're going to get through the next 4 years. There is something that I saw on the internet. I saw it on Facebook. I recently became friends with someone on Facebook that is a doctor of bassoon because they post all these really cool things on their page, and they usually are tutorials for bassoonists, which my daughter is a bassoonist. And one of the things I saw they posted was something after the election. And while we don't talk politics, I do want to impart this to you because if it helps you get through the day, then I think it's worth saying. But this person, this bassoon doctor, was saying, listen, one of the things that probably isn't going to help here is panic, because I think that's something a lot of us feel is just panic. And he wrote, panic doesn't ever make any situation better. And that's true. I think that's true. So he writes, if you feel yourself panicking, drop everything else and work on settling yourself. He said it's critical because you can't make any rational decisions or experience any growth while you're in a panic. Do not let this outcome, he said, rob you of your peace or your ability to move forward with your own life. Maybe get off social media, do something that will steady your mind and your heart, which is exactly what we're doing with the After Party Live. He said, remember what's true, and you'll begin to see what your path forward needs to be. He said, it doesn't mean you can't be angry. But don't be mastered by your emotions, however valid they may be. Your life is more than the outcome of one election. And so we take a breath and we jump right into the After Party Live. I do want to thank Wes, who threw down $5 as always. And I know Wes is busy with work, but takes time to still pop in now and then. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you all for being here. I see your chat talking about a dark day. Not watching. Exactly. That's okay. That's why we're here together. It's our own little support group, I think, right? You're talking about the Bible. Yeah, remember to breathe. Exactly. Remember to breathe too. No heavy drinking over here. I save it for Thursday. So, buffoonist. That's pretty funny. All right, let's jump into some of these. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, I had another thank you that I wanted to make, and I haven't been able to see the whole message yet. But I do want to say a huge, huge, huge thank you to not only Wes, but Sue Ann as well, who contributed a $50 to the show. So huge thank you for that. I really appreciate that. That really helps the show keep going, paying for this platform to be on and all the associated costs with the show. So thank you so much. Let's jump into some of these stories and take our mind off of the task at hand. And please click the like button if you can. And if you haven't subscribed, please do that as well. First story that I wanted to showcase today is something that could change the world for the better. And that is, what the heck is it? It's a wonder material. What is a wonder material, you may say? Well, it's a rare earth barium copper oxide. It's called REBCO, rare earth barium copper oxide. And it's now being used by an Oxfordshire-based company because it has these superconducting properties. And they hope that it'll make nuclear fusion a practical reality. It's a superconducting magnetic levitation, according to a magnetic scientist. It's the closest you'll get to magic in the real world. It's a ceramic-like substance called rare earth barium copper oxide, or REBCO. It's suspended half a centimeter or so mid-air above this strip of copper in the experiment they were doing. If you poke it with a finger, it won't budge. If you give it a push, it'll spin without wanting to stop. So REBCO is this superconductor. Those are materials that have near zero electrical resistance. But in most cases with these types of materials, they have to be cooled to really cold temperatures to make their magical properties come forward. That is not the case with REBCO. Well, kind of not the case. It becomes superconducting at a minus 200 Celsius, minus 328 Fahrenheit, around the temperature of liquid nitrogen. And scientists say that makes it far more useful. The attraction is the role for high temperature superconductors in making nuclear fusion a practical reality. And we know that while some people look at nuclear fusion and think danger, Will Robinson, others say, well, if we manage to achieve this, we'll have limitless, just about zero carbon electricity from these abundant naturally occurring elements. And we've known the possibility of this exists since the 1950s, but we just haven't quite been able to make it happen. So they say this is where magnets come in. These magnets allow us to go to stronger magnetic fields than have ever been possible before, and they allow us to do it in more compact devices as well. So they have this thing called STEP, spherical tokamak for electricity production, STEP. It's the UK's bid to be the first in the world to build a practical demonstration of a fusion reactor supplying electricity to their national grid. Now, I don't know if this is possible, but this material could make it so. The problem so far with nuclear fusion has been getting magnetic fields that are powerful and compact enough to do the job. They say it's like holding jelly in a net, jelly that's 100 million Celsius, 180 million Fahrenheit. Until now, these machines have had to be enormous, expensive machines because of the size of the magnets required and the cooling systems to chill them to superconducting temperatures as cold as the depths of space. But with magnets like this and this material, STEP is hoping they can do the smaller and cheaper build. It'll be easier to rip apart and adjust as they try to figure out exactly how to make this work. They had a thin layer of this REBCO bonded to copper metal tape, wound hundreds of times around with 1,000 amps running through it. They that should do the job. So they say it's without a doubt the most advanced HTS magnet that's ever been built, and that it's going to tell them more than has ever been known about how to build these properly. So that's this wonder material, and we'll see what they do with that. I wanted to tell you, because I don't know if anyone has heard this story, about the poultry sales in Georgia because of the bird flu. I think this might be the first time or the first state where they actually stop all of the commercial poultry sales in a particular state. Like, that's it. They've stopped poultry sales in Georgia. They're allocating $590 million for bird flu vaccines. Georgia officials stopped the sales of poultry, all in-state poultry sales, on Friday. And the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services awarded $590 million to Moderna to accelerate the development of vaccines to protect people from flu strains in cows and birds. So they have a big problem. They have another case of bird flu at a poultry operation in Georgia. And so for the first time in this outbreak, which has been this bird flu outbreak, which has been in place or going on since 2022, they've stopped it. That's it. They say it's a serious threat to Georgia's #1 industry and the livelihoods of thousands of Georgians who make their living in the poultry industry. So they're working around the clock to mitigate the further spread of bird flu and ensure normal poultry activities in Georgia can resume as quickly as possible. We've had bird flu here in California, but we have not stopped the sale of eggs or poultry or anything like that so far. All right. Well, from the serious to when I'm probably gonna get demonetized for showing this video, but I cannot I can there's no way I can help myself. Must do it. This lady, young lady, sets a record for the most watermelons crushed with her thighs in 1 minute. I have to show you the video because it's a bit outrageous. Here it is. You won't be able to hear the sound, but here she goes. Check her out. So it starts, wow, like you're impressed. Okay, this is good. And she's got to wipe off the goop because I guess you wouldn't be able to hold the watermelon within your thighs. But she's going pretty fast. I can't imagine doing that. I mean, I've never tried to do that. I don't know why anyone would try to do that. And so then it kind of gets a little bit like, oh, this is maybe a little bit racy going on here. Yeah. Oh, here she goes. And on and on and on. I can imagine that your thighs would be pretty bruised after trying to do this. Maybe it's easier than I think it would be, but she goes on and I think it gets harder because of the slippery nature and gooey nature of all of this, the longer she goes, but she pulled it off. Yes, very excited. Yeah. She didn't quite get them all, but she got a lot of them. So, look at her face. There it is in slow-mo. Uh-huh. So so she's successful, and she now holds a world record. That's probably gonna get me demonetized, but I really think seeing the video together was worth it. She's from Turkey. She squashed 5 watermelons within a 60-second time frame using only her thighs, and that is a world record. Yeah. Her name is Gozdi Dogan, and she got a plaque that says she's officially amazing, becoming the first person to earn the distinction of using the thighs to smash the most watermelons in 60 seconds. There was apparently someone else had tried to do this in 2017. They smashed 3 watermelons quicker than anyone ever had. That was a man from Iran. In 2023, the same man set a record for stacking 4 watermelons on top of one another. So apparently, there's a lot of records to be set where watermelons are concerned. But congratulations to this woman, Gozdi Dogan, for her freakishly strong thighs and her ability to crush watermelons with them. All right, back to science. I mean, how could I not show the video? Honestly, you kind of have to, right? Can we talk about this for a second? This is an Arctic volcano. I had never heard of such a thing, but apparently the worry is that we're going back to the Arctic volcano because as ice sheets melt, they may be triggered, these Antarctic volcano eruptions, and that could cause even more melting. Like we didn't have enough problems already, right? According to scientists, more than 100 volcanoes lie beneath Antarctic ice. The thought is that the release of some of the weight on them could kickstart them back into life, according to this new study. Human induced hotter temperatures are making a variety of disasters worse. We know that fires, floods, droughts, heat waves, right? And maybe volcanoes too. You would think that the volcanoes would be driven by forces deep inside of the earth that aren't really related to the activities of humans up here on the surface. But the ice sheets of Antarctica and Greenland are so thick that their weight can compress the ground beneath. The scientists say some regions are still coming back after glacial cover disappeared 10,000 years ago. That much pressure will affect the behavior of the magma in the chambers far below. But there's this new paper that says the effects of ice loss above volcanoes in the underlying volcanic activity are not well understood, and evidence that deglaciation of the Patagonian ice sheet triggered an increase in volcanic activity at the end of the last ice age is making it concerning that this possibly could happen again. So When they looked at this question last year, apparently there were hints of danger, but scientists were still kind of unsure. So, whether the rising or the falling, the changing in pressure can cause ruptures in the Earth's crust, through which perhaps magma can escape, is a question that researchers are looking at. They say it's hard to really conduct a practical experiment on this because if you do these types of experiments, they could trigger volcanoes, and nobody wants that. But a team led by Brown University, a PhD student, Ali Kunin, turned into a computer modeling of the West Antarctic ice sheet and the extensive volcanoes beneath. They say the ice sheet is far smaller than its eastern counterpart, but it's more heavily studied because it's considered more vulnerable to collapse. Its position on top of active volcanic rifts is not often considered, according to the scientists at Brown. So they say there's a lot they don't know because this is a very inaccessible area. But they modeled typical magma chambers using the known properties of basalt from this region, and they assumed the presence of water and carbon dioxide. They found this that as ice melts, the associated pressure decreases in the magma chamber could lead to eruptions. But they say we demonstrate that the rate of unloading influences in the cumulative mass erupted and consequently heat released into the ice. They say things got really bad when the rate at which the ice load decreases matches other important volcanic features, like the recharge rate of magma. So they talk about a lot about thickness of the magma and the ice sheets. What they say is this is a possibility. They have published their study, open access in geochemistry, geophysics, and geosystems. Their open access spots for studies to be published. And it's really interesting. There's a lot of graphs and charts about how the ice could be pressing down or is pressing down on these volcanoes, which have been non-active for so long. So we'll see how this happens. We'll see what happens with that. That's what we need, right? Look at this. It's a cool picture. We're going to the moon. The Blue Ghost was launched by SpaceX. Resilience landers heading to the moon. They launched a Falcon 9 rocket carrying a pair of lunar landers into space early Wednesday. The rocket launched from Launch Complex 39A at Florida's Kennedy Space Center, the 100th launch of a Falcon rocket from that platform. And they said the Blue Ghost is on the way to orbit. Then, though, it looked like there was some type of problem with another SpaceX vehicle, and they had some type of debris that come back down. Something blew up. So I don't know. I don't know. But they say the Blue Origin successfully launched a New Glenn rocket as well. So they had a two-stage heavy lift New Glenn rocket on an unmanned maiden voyage into space. Things are happening with Blue Origin and with SpaceX, and it looks like we're getting more and more space exploration as we go. Here's a scientific development that could be good for people. This is called the Hormon Meter. Well, that sounds racy, doesn't it? Hormo as in hormone, meter as in something to measure your hormones. The goal is to measure your hormones at home using the Hormon Meter. That hormone levels can easily be tested and monitored at home. This test kit was created by a Canadian startup, Eli Health, and it was launched and shown at the tech fair CES. The Hormon Meter is this monitoring system that combines a thermometer-like single-use test cartridge with an AI-powered mobile app that then analyzes the results in real time. Eli Health says they are the first to develop a portable, instant saliva-based testing product with very precise readings across multiple hormones. So they're offering test kits for cortisol, the stress hormone, and progesterone, which is often tracked in relation to fertility and menopause, etc. They say these hormones can already be tested for at home using saliva, urine, or finger prick tests, but the samples then often have to be sent to a lab for analysis, and it can take days or weeks to get those results back. But the Hormon Meter system does basically what the glucose meter did for diabetes. It enables you to manage your well being on a much more informed and personal basis with unprecedented access to hormone health insights, providing individuals with the tools they need to better understand and support their wellness. They say they're trying to make this hormone monitoring as simple and accessible as checking your heart rate so that you can proactively manage your health. There she is taking the saliva sample, and then the hormone meter spits it out exactly right to your phone and tells you what your hormone levels are. They did some testing with the hormone meter cartridge. Uh, it is color coded to the hormone being tested. So the purple is for cortisol. And they say you hold it in your mouth to get a saliva sample, just like you would to measure your temperature with a thermometer. And then after about a minute, you can remove the tester from your mouth, pull on that circular tab to retract the collection pad into the base of the cartridge, and then wait for the sample to mix with the reagents. The results are presented as a series of lines similar to a pregnancy or a COVID test, which you can then interpret with the help of your accompanying app. That's how it works. Using the phone's camera and custom AI algorithm, the app analyzes elements like the test color's intensity and pattern to provide an instant reading of the hormone level. The app also offers trends to report and recommendations for how to manage your hormones and your related health conditions. So it won the 2025 Best of Innovation Award in Digital Health at CES this year. It's launching with tests for cortisol and progesterone, but they're developing versions for testosterone and estradiol, which is a type of estrogen that declines during menopause as well. The cortisol is linked to energy, metabolism, inflammation, and sleep. And it has been pinpointed as a cause for fatigue, weight gain, and even a puffy cortisol face, I guess. The medical experts say significant issues with cortisol imbalance are pretty rare. The access to this hormometer, if you're interested in that, will start in the US and Canada this month. So there you go. It's another innovation in healthcare. Do you need the hormometer? I don't know. Here's one thing we don't need, and it looks like it's getting taken away, and that would be red dye number 3 in food products. And by 2028, that will completely be phased out. I don't know why it's not phased out now, right now, this very moment. It's this synthetic food dye red number 3. We know it's been linked to cancer. We've known it for a while. Wednesday, the United States finally joined the European Union and other nations around the world in banning this. We've already had it banned in California and Illinois. The FDA says they cannot authorize a food additive or a color additive if it has been found to cause cancer in humans or animals. Red dye number 3 gives food and drinks this bright cherry red color. And evidence has shown cancer in male lab rats when they've been exposed to high levels of this. Still, it's put in thousands of food products, candy, cereals, fruit cocktail cherries, strawberry flavored milkshakes. There are more than 3,200 products still available for purchase with red number 3 as a listed ingredient, according to the Environmental Working Group. So they call the FDA's action on this long overdue and a step in the right direction. The folks that make Peeps, this company is called Just Born, and they produce Peep marshmallows. They stopped using red dye number 3 last year after Easter. I think they saw the writing on the wall. They say at long last, the FDA is ending the regulatory paradox of red number 3 being illegal for use in lipstick, but perfectly legal to feed to children in the form of candy. This, according to a scientist. They approved red dye number 3 back in 1907. It's made from petroleum. It's also called erythrocene in other nations. More than 30 years ago, the FDA banned it in cosmetics because high doses were found to cause cancer in animals, but for some reason didn't ban it in food. We here in California became the first state to ban this dye along with other additives, and 10 other states have taken similar steps, including the state of Illinois. So it's nice to see that they're taking steps. This is long. This is ridiculous that it took so long to do this. Come on. Yeah. Um there is I'll show you a picture of this guy. Snake. This guy uh is representative of this new antivenom protein. Scientists are using AI to completely create new antivenom proteins. They say they found something that worked on their first attempt. So, how common is it to be bitten by a venomous snake? Well, every year, snake bites kill about 100,000 people and permanently disable thousands more. That, according to the World Health Organization. So, researchers successfully designed 2 proteins to neutralize some of the most lethal venom toxins, and they used AI to do it. The study is published January 15th in the journal Nature. They call them de novo protein molecules. They're not found anywhere in nature. They protected 100% of mice from certain death when mixed with the deadly snake compounds administered in lab experiments. The scientists say they think they can revolutionize the treatment of snake bites. This is part of a doctoral thesis done at the University of Washington. And one of the lead chemists on this, David Baker's lab. Baker, by the way, won the 2024 Nobel Prize in Chemistry for work in creating new proteins. They say this doesn't solve the problem, but it demonstrates that we can develop molecules very fast compared to traditional methods and works. So it could lead to cheaper, safer, more effective remedies than what we have right now. Doctors at Scripps Research Institute are calling it fantastic work. They've previously published research developing synthetic antivenoms from the same sort of compounds. They say the research is a demonstration of how far protein design has come in recent years, enabled by rapidly improving AI. That it's a practical advance in medicine. And it's true that despite the toll that snake bites take, the treatment for these antivenoms has pretty much been the same for more than 100 years. Antibodies collected from horses or other animals inoculated with sublethal amounts of venom. The antivenoms do save lives, but they also have some downsides as well. They're expensive, they're difficult to make. Producing them involves maintaining stables of animals. They vary in quality because they rely on imperfect immune systems. They often have uneven results. Antivenoms tend to work better against some toxins than others, only partially neutralizing the smallest components of the complex cocktail that is venom. And they perform poorly against the bites of some different species. So, because they're a biological product rather. So these newly designed proteins are stable across a much wider range of temperatures. They can be produced in bulk using microorganisms like yeast, fewer side effects, easier to fine tune and keep consistent. There's a lot of good things about this. So they're still working with antivenoms and snake proteins and creating this, but the future is looking pretty good for folks that are bitten by snakes because we're on our way to some much better treatment options. Are we ready for this? It is the lotto of the day. I feel like I should have music for that. This is another birthday story. This lady was celebrating her birthday. She realized that she matched all 5 numbers when she did a I think it was a Mega Millions ticket. She bought her ticket, and her number combination consisted of some family birthdays, and she waited till her own birthday to collect her prize. She said they say it's not the first time a player won the lottery by using a special set of numbers. So, and we talked about that lady in Maryland who saw her numbers in a dream. This lady is from North Carolina. She won $110,000 by matching all 5 numbers. The odds of doing that are 1 in 962,598. So she said, I wanted this to be a big ta-da. I'm having a great birthday. So she wins 110,000. She walks away with 78,000 after taxes. And she cashes in on her birthday. So what a great birthday present for her. Can we talk about this Sex and the City thing? Let's do this. You see this apartment? There she is, coming out of her apartment. Sarah. This apartment that she's in front of showcased in Sex and the City. And apparently people want to go see it. They want to go see the Sex and the City apartment, to the point where the people that live there are super annoyed. And they have now been given permission to put up a gate to keep tourists away. So the whole Carrie Bradshaw apartment now has this gate to keep out what the owner of the townhouse calls an endless presence of interest in my celebrity staircase. They have been granted permission to install a gate to keep trespassing tourists away from this 3-story brownstone building in Greenwich Village, used for the exterior shots of Carrie Bradshaw's apartment building in the show. Of course, played by Sarah Jessica Parker. So the Landmarks Preservation Commission approved an application for a gate to be installed because of apparently the endless presence of people coming to looky-loos. This house is within their historical district. It's on the U.S. National Register of Historic Places. The woman who has owned this building since 1978 says, I hoped for decades that this would pass. But at this point, I think even someone as stubborn as I am has to admit that this is not going away in the near future. So they put up a chain link fence trying to keep people off. That hasn't worked. So now it looks like they're getting the gate. This woman says day and night, she has visitors taking flash photos, talking loudly, posting to social media. Some have added graffiti or carved their initials into the door frame. She said this in a letter that she sent to the commission. The steps of this building, as you see here, have been chained off with a no trespassing sign. That doesn't keep people out. People are still coming. They climb over the chain. They pose. They dance. They lie down on the steps. They climb to the top to stare in the windows. They try to open the main entrance door when they're drunk late at night. They ring the doorbell. Super annoying. We know how this goes. Right? We've seen it with other homes that have been used for famous TV shows. So it doesn't surprise me. And maybe the gate will keep people out. I think people find a way. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to the chat because I see you guys are talking about this one. Kurt says, did Sex and the City have permission to use her front porch, or did they guerrilla shoot her place without permission? They may owe her money. I bet they had permission. I'm guessing that they had permission because they use the shot all the time in coming out in different outfits. So I don't think that's the problem. Yeah, I think they have permission. Go away, you trespasser, says Calvin. I can't play the theme music. Sorry. I know I already probably will be demonetized for the watermelon crushing thighs, but I don't know. Wes says, sounds like a real party to live there. Can you imagine how annoying that is? Come on. Peter says they could remove the stairs and have the entrance on the lower floor. It's beautiful. It's on the National Register of Historic Places. You don't want to change something like that. And it's beautiful. So, Louise says some clown trips over the chain and successfully sues. Thanks, America. Yeah, they're going to put in a gate now. It'll change the whole look of it, but maybe these people will get a little bit of peace. People are crazy. Come on. All right, I have video because if this isn't going to take your mind off things, I honestly don't know what will. Um, we have video for your pleasure of a dancing robot. It's the next in a series of videos of the way that we're teaching these humanoid robots to move. And maybe this robot isn't the best dancer, but take a look at this. I'm going to take the sound off, but check it out. So there you have the robot doing the little dance. Pretty good overall. Kind of looks very human-like in this movements. I think we're getting better and better at doing this. This robot mirrors humans. It can punch, it can wave its arms around, all of these things. So I think that's pretty good. UC San Diego is where the research is being done on this. They designed this AI-enabled robot that does a waltz just by mirroring the moves of its human partner. The robot was apparently able to do a ballroom dance as well without stepping on its partner's toes. It looks pretty good. It might be the most human-like movements that I've seen from a robot so far. We watch a lot of robot videos on this show, right? They designed at UC San Diego an AI model trained on human motion capture videos, and then they integrated it into two bipedal unitree G1 robots. Using another model, the robots were able to analyze the motions of humans in front of them and then mimic those movements themselves. The result was a humanoid robot was able to seamlessly walk, dodge, squat, there he is squatting, and dance just by copying a human. So, pretty good. The dance routines were one. They did some impressive parkour moves as well. Um, I I'm kind of impressed by the way this robot moves. It almost looks like a human in a robot suit. Mirroring robots could, they say, speed up training and drive down costs as well. Stanford did something similar with an AI model to teach a humanoid robot how to box and play rudimentary tennis, all by shadowing human movements. The AI was trained on motion capture data as well. So I don't know. I think it looks pretty good. What do you think? There he is, dancing around. Yeah. They say the approach to robot movement isn't about novelty, but it's about mirroring or shadowing. And it could cut down on the need to repeatedly train these robots, which could speed up their development, drive down the cost. The technology shows that this robot with this dance partner, that this is a possibility. So I think it's, if the goal is to get it to move more human-like, this is probably the best that I've seen so far. It looks good. So I don't know what happens with UC San Diego, whether they're compensated for this new technology or not, but it looks good. It looks really good. And it's all about copying. Yeah. There he goes. Side to side, even. That's impressive. Punching. Yeah. The squatting. Kind of fascinated by this. Picking up of items. Something like this is going to be in all of our houses one day. They say pretty soon. I was reading that, I think, is it Tesla or Elon Musk and whatever companies he's going to create to make robots, they're planning on producing thousands and thousands of these things. We know that technology is still being developed, but it seems like it's happening really fast, really, really fast. So there's the dancing robot video for the day. And get ready because we're going to have our robots in our house. I don't know if I'm ready for technology. Luis with the $5 super sticker. Now more than ever, mahalo for the after party. P.S. Melania did look like the Hamburglar. I know. Mark was like, she looks beautiful. I'm like, she looks like the Hamburglar. Seriously. Thank you, Luis, for that. I really appreciate it. Kurt says, if he does a rock'em sock'em move, I'll jump out of bed. Wes says Unitree also makes a robot dog like the Boston Dynamics for about $2,500. Really? I didn't know that. That Boston Dynamics dog really freaked me out. I guess it was just the look of it was so powerful. It looked like it could really harm you if anything went wrong. A teacher to chop wood, says Ricky. Absolutely. Cindy says, danger, Battlestar Galactica beginnings. I don't know how many motors are in that one. Tammy wants the robot to chase snakes out in the yard and entertain me. Maybe that's our entertainment in the future. I don't know. It'll be patrolling your house, keeping you safe, folding your laundry. It'll be our companion because we'll put a little AI in there to, have it talk about feelings. The world is weird. They've got a new way to fight drought on the Greek islands. They are going to, instead of filling pools with regular water, they're going to fill it with seawater because they're trying to fight a drought. So just ahead of the tourist season, they've got a lot of pressure on their water system there in Greece. So they're looking at other ways to keep the hotel pools filled. Will it impact the environment? Perhaps. They're trying to install pipes connecting swimming pools at coastal hotels with the sea to save shrinking water reserves on many Greek islands. So they are right now putting in place a framework for carrying out seawater extraction and pumping it into swimming pools. The focus to conserve water resources. And we know Greece had an extreme drought over the last 2 years. The islands, they're a popular tourist destination, so there's even more pressure on those areas. The worry is that there could be some environmental impact on coastal regions from what might be pumped out to sea from these pools. So we'll see. It's an innovative idea and maybe something that could be put to use in California if it works out and there's not too much of an environmental impact. You still have to clean the water. So you're going to have to pour chemicals into the water. Unless you have constantly rotating seawater, I don't think they can do that. I think they have to put chlorine and chemicals in the water, even if it's seawater, to keep it clean. We'll see. I know that we have a saline pool and we have to use chlorine as well. So let's get to I have a cave for you. Check this cave out. Look how beautiful that is. That is the Tree of Life or Tree Root Cave at Olympic National Park in the state of Washington. It is one of the visitors' favorite caves in the state. They say this location will satisfy every kind of traveler, from adventure chasers to people who love spiritual traveling. It's this Tree of Life, this centenary tree guarding the entrance, creating this stunning arch in front of this cave. The tree's gigantic roots hang in the air, making it hard to understand how in the world this tree can possibly still be alive. The cave, they say, is a perfect location for people looking for an awe-inspiring view and a really good photo op. Unfortunately, tides and erosion are slowly damaging this very resilient tree. So if you want to visit this area, they say it's probably a good idea to visit it soon. The Tree of Life. It's like something out of a movie, isn't it? That's really, really magical. I love it. Again, that is in Washington State, in the Olympic National Park. The next cave I have for you is also in the state of Washington, and it is called the Ape Cave. Ape, like great ape. The Ape Cave. Yeah, kind of a special one as well. It's in the Gifford Pinchot National Forest. They say if you ask a local to suggest the perfect cave in the state of Washington, they're likely to tell you to go visit the Ape Cave. It's a lava tube that runs underground for 2.5 miles, one of the longest in North America. Inside of this cave are two trails intended for different levels of hiking experience and capability. The upper trail is pretty demanding, but they say it's also rewarding in terms of fun and excitement. Either way, either trail at Ape Cave, it's really intense. You have to bring a torch. It's pitch black in there, cold weather clothes, regardless of the season as well, but pretty cool. There's another cave in Washington state. It's called the Big Four Ice Caves, and it's at the Big Four Mountain Cascade Range. And it looks to be pretty special. So if you are going to hide in a cave, I might actually pick this one. It looks like it's got some headroom for you, so you won't be too cramped in this cave. So this is the Big Four Ice Cave. It is for folks admiring a glacier, discovering a stunning hidden waterfall. If that sounds like your perfect day, put Big Four Ice Caves on the must-visit list. This hike is about 2.2 miles from the parking lot to the ice caves. It's pretty easy, no elevation, a really nice pathway. The caves are beautiful. They can be safely admired from the outside. Some hikers choosing to explore the caves, they consider it, though, highly dangerous. It's not advisable to wander deep into the ice caves because they say it's possible for small avalanches to occur, especially in the spring and the summer. It gets really cold around the ice caves, so you got to take some warm clothes with you, especially if you're going to spend the night up there. They say a lot of people do choose to camp in the vicinity of the caves because there's almost no light pollution in this area, so stargazing is incredible. So don't go too far into the ice cave. You don't want an avalanche, but how beautiful. The Big Four Ice Caves at Big Four Mountain in the Cascade Range. Um, okay. I have another cave for you. This one is called the Boulder Cave in the Lost River Gorge and the Boulder Caves area. It is also in the state of Washington, uh, as we visit our caves this time around. But this one looks more like a waterfall Wednesday. Maybe it's a little bit of everything, the Boulder Cave. Check this out. Isn't that a pretty picture? Yeah. Sorry it doesn't take up the whole screen, but pretty nice. So you can get here by foot pretty easily. And they say when you get to the end, it looks like you're in a fairy tale. The trail leading to the caves follows the Lost River Gorge and some charming wooden boardwalks. In general, they say the trail is not challenging, it's well marked, which makes it perfect for even beginning hikers. At the trailhead, they will ask you to buy a $5 entrance ticket in cash. But they say you can do this without a guide. Bring a flashlight. It can get pretty dark in the cave. They say just before the signaled turn for the caves, you can turn right and reach a small hidden waterfall as well. The falls are almost always empty because a lot of people don't even know that it's there. So that's Boulder Caves at Lost River Gorge and Boulder Caves Natural Area in Washington State. And again, we had the Big Four Ice Caves. Check it out. And that one is at Big Four Mountain Cascade Range. And then we had the Ape Cave at Gifford Pinchot National Forest, followed by what I think is the coolest one of the day, and that is the Tree of Life Cave. So pretty. The Tree of Life Cave at Olympic National Park. And that is Hide in Your Cave Monday. So pick a cave, imagine yourself in there for a little while, then come out all refreshed. And there you go. All right. Huge thank you to Luis for the $5 contribution to the show, and to Wes as well as Sue Ann for contributing via PayPal. You can find the PayPal information in the show description and in the About tab here on YouTube. Please click like and subscribe if you haven't already. Really appreciate that as well. Tomorrow on The Mark Thompson Show, I think we're going to have Michael Schur back in the mix, as well as David K. Johnston will be on the show. So it'll be really interesting to hear what he has to say about all the stuff going on with Trump and the inauguration. So we'll get to that. And then we're back here for a detox on the After Party Live with Travel Tuesday. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Make it a really good one. And I will see you next time here on YouTube. For now, bye-bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
I think a torch is a flashlight. Not like a fire torch. Although that would be amusing. Bye, everybody. Have the best day possible, even in the face of challenge.